I'm doing some painting today in England and having some fun doing some little daubs, and I noticed that a few weeks ago that these painting sets you get in England, which are English style portable sets, have the colours in these little trays, quite expensive, and they all clip in and fold up. But it just occurs to me that it's such a horrid naff product. It's so contraceptive and so cheap and nasty, probably made in China, and the trim is so unfriendly, and though you can change the individual colours, it's so tasteless and naff that I decided I'd have a get rid of it. So I'm going to get rid of that. But I don't travel anyway and paint. I have a big pot of stuff in England, so I'm going to use them up anyway and get rid of the cheap, horrible paint set. And this little video is about these shells, because I read 6 months ago that some of the old master painters used to use shells to mix their paints in, not to grind their paints and to texture their paints, but they would use their paints to, as I say, mix the colours. So I thought, well, I better look it up and check that I'm right. So I looked it up and I couldn't find a reference to any artist using these shells to mix their paint. But by then, of course, it's too late. I've already gone and paid someone for these shells. I was in a restaurant and I gave the bloke a £5 after I'd eaten them. Anyway, I thought they'd be good for paints because they have this rib texture, so you can empty the brush inside the bowl instead of emptying the brush on the side where it would all run down the side. So anyway, I've got these scallop shells for fun because they're nicer than the plastic ones. And sometimes I've used a white dinner plate to mix colours. So I'm going to try these. But when I was looking it up to check about the shells, I was surprised to see that the old masters did used to use shells for the paint itself. They probably didn't use scallop shells, though they could have done, because they're all over Europe. They used to grind up the shells to put it in the paint when they were mixing it, and the mixing would be a grinding exercise. So I was quite interested about that. The other thing I noticed was it said on the internet that the old master painters would use a shell to store paint. So they used a mussel shell, a large freshwater mussel shell, I suppose because the centre is sealed and vitreous, and they would put their paints in these shells, tempera paints, and they would put water on the top to seal it and to stop it drying out. So that's it really, just a chat about shells and using nice things to mix paints and not using horrible, cheap, naff, crappy Chinese things to mix paints. Okay, thank you.